Hello friends, I am Captain Kamalesh Kumar Agnihotri. I am a senior fellow in the National Maritime Foundation and my areas of study is on China's maritime security, national security as well as the Chinese interactions in the Indo-Pacific area and what India can do about these things. Today I wish to talk about the maritime security dynamics in the Western Pacific Ocean. The Western Pacific Ocean I would like to cover in three segments. One segment is of course the China-Japan maritime security issues in the East China Sea. The second one would be China-Taiwan crossed dynamics across the Taiwan Strait. And the third part would be the Chinese aggressive actions in the South China Sea area. So coming first to the issue on the China-Japan crossed interactions. China and Japan have historically have a very antagonistic relationship. We have heard about the events regarding the rape of Nanjing, and the Japanese have been portrayed as very, very cruel towards the Chinese society. China has suffered 2 long wars from the Japanese aggression, and we have seen that in the current time, particularly after the in the 2000s and in the new millennium, we have seen that China has tried to dominate particularly one area, that is the Senkaku Islands, what they call in Chinese, and Diaoyu Islands as they call in Chinese. Now the basic fight on this issue is with regard to the territorial sovereignty of these islands, which Japan presently controls but China contests. Now after 2016, when Japan tried to sell these islands as part of exercising its sovereign rights over the islands to some private entity, the Chinese took it up in a big way, and since 2016 onwards, China has been regularly sending its Coast Guard ships, its fishermen, some in the guise of maritime militia, and its Air Force aircraft in the maritime zones and quite close to the Senkaku Islands. The Japanese since 2016 have obviously wanted to respond to this issue, and they have been sending their own aircraft. So it is a question of China trying to create new normals. They want Japan to get used to fobbing off the PLA Air Force aircrafts, and they also want the Japanese to be continuously engaged in interacting with the Chinese Coast Guard. So Japan realizes its capability gap, and this issue is there. With regard to the Taiwan Strait, we have been seeing that China has always considered the Taiwan as its own renegade province, and since the visit of Nancy Pelosi, US House Speaker, in August 2022, China has ratcheted up the brinkmanship against Taiwan. And after the DPP new president took over, we have seen China's aggressive exercises all around Taiwan have started coming much closer to Taiwan. The many Chinese aircrafts cross the median line and intrude willfully into the Taiwan's air defense identification zone. So Taiwan is looking for clear security guarantees from USA, and so USA has a great role to play, whether it is in relation to providing nuclear security umbrella to Japan or to provide security guarantee to Taiwan. With regard to South China Sea, things are even more critical. The dispute with the South China Sea claimants, particularly with the Philippines, Vietnam and China, and Taiwan also has a role in it, is becoming more and more critical by the day. China has captured many islands, reconstructed those islands through reclamation, and has even built airfields in 3 of them. One of them is of course the Mischief Reef, and particularly after 2012, China has made it very difficult for Philippines to access its Scarborough Shoal area, Second Thomas Shoal area, and the new disputes are coming up in Sabina Shoal. Philippines, and all this has again has a critical timeline of 2016, when the International Tribunal on the complaint of Philippines passed a judgment which rendered all the Chinese claims inside the so-called 9-line as illegal and unfounded in law. But China has solely rejected this particular claim in the South China Sea and has refused to adhere to the stipulations of this particular ruling. So now what happens is that Philippines is at, I would say, knife's edge, and the Chinese are engaging in grey zone warfare, particularly using their coast guard ships and their maritime militia, which is in the garb of fishermen, is enforcing their maritime rights and interests in the maritime zones. So on the whole, we see that the complete geographical continuum from the East China Sea and Taiwan Strait and going right down to the South China Sea is being made quite critical with regard to the Chinese aggressive and unilateral actions to change the status quo. Now, the areas that I am talking about is South China Sea, East China Sea, and the Taiwan Strait are critical economic shipping flow points for India, and that is where India's interests lie. India would want a free, safe, and open Indo-Pacific, particularly with regard to when we are talking about Western Pacific. And if it is not happening, then India must collaborate with other like-minded stakeholders so that the global commerce through the maritime shipping can remain open, and China's hegemonistic intentions can remain in check, and so that the China is forced to follow either a system of global good, or it is isolated on certain issues that calls out the Chinese efforts at creating these new normals. So I would end my discussion on the South China Sea and particularly the Western Pacific with this note. Thank you.